Dendrites receive neurotransmitters and turn them into neural impulses and send them down the axon.
At the soma, the signal from the dendrites are joined and passed on.
Axon passes messages to the other neurons.
Myelin sheath increase speed of neural impulse down the axon.
When the action potential reaches the presynaptic terminal, the neurotransmitter release is triggered by the opening of the voltage gate calcium channels. The neurotransmitter located within the vesicles at the axon terminals reach the terminal end, in which the neurotransmitters are released from the vesicles and cross the synapse between the two neurons to bind to the ligated gate channels located in the membrane of the dendrites postsynaptic cell receptor sites of the receiving neuron.
When the neuron is stimulated, it goes through action potential. This starts at the resting potential, where the neuron is waiting for stimulation or is regenerating from the last impulse. When the neuron is waiting, it gets closer and closer and closer to its threshold, which is after it reaches its threshold, it goes into the all or nothing principle, in which after it goes past a certain point of stimulation, it fires into depolarization. Once in depolarization, the sodium gates close and the potassium gates open, allowing for potassium to leave the neuron, reaching the peak of the graph. Inside the neuron, during depolarization, the neuron gets closer and closer to equilibrium but never quite reaches it. The neuron has a brief reversal of charge when nearing the peak of the graph. Repolarization happens when the neuron gets more negative and more towards the original resting potential. Hyperpolarization is when the cell's memory goes really negative and undershoots on the graph before going back to resting potential. The sodium-potassium pump is what allows for the neuron to go back to being negative on the inside and positive on the outside. This is also called reuptake. Then the graph would repeat itself and another impulse is passed through. Jasmine Schmitt.
Branden Parks.
Sheridan Schmitt.
Habeth.